That was Motley Crue with Kickstart My Heart. Welcome to the Rise Weekly Review, extended edition for June 27th to July 11th, 2022. On Tuesday, Ceasar Shears Jr. was fatally shot in South Chicago. Shears, who was 20 years old, was on the 8400 block of South Colfax when he was shot. No further details on the shooting or reports were provided. On Saturday, the 2nd, 30-year-old Michael Johnson was killed in a South Chicago shooting. Johnson was on the 9000 block of South Escanaba around 12:20 a.m. when someone shot him in the head. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center where he passed away from his injuries. On Thursday, a 17-year-old girl was wounded in a South Chicago shooting. The teen was walking near the sidewalk on the 800 block of South Burley around 3:40 p.m. when someone began opening fire. She was struck in her thigh. She was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center and last reported in good condition. On Monday the 11th, a 37-year-old man was wounded in a bush shooting. Around 3:30 a.m., the man was involved in a traffic accident with another man. The two began arguing when the other man pulled out a gun and shot the 37-year-old in the chest. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was last reported in critical condition. On Saturday the 2nd, a man was shot in South Chicago near the mill gates. The 20-year-old was standing on the 8700 block of South Burley around 10:15 p.m. when he heard multiple shots being fired and began to feel pain. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center with a gunshot wound to the chest. He was last reported in serious condition. On Saturday the 2nd, a 26-year-old was wounded in a South Shore shooting. Around 4 p.m., the man was riding a bike on the 2100 block of East 71st Street. An unknown offender pulled up in a dark-colored sedan and fired shots, striking the victim. The victim was hit in the head and arm. He was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center and last reported in critical condition. On the 4th of July, a man was left in critical condition in a South Shore shooting. The man, who was between 25 to 30 years of age, was outside around 12:39 a.m. on the 2400 block of East 72nd Street when he heard several shots and felt pain. The man was hit 3 times in the abdomen. He was transported to the University of Chicago Hospital, where he was last listed in critical condition. On Monday the 11th, 64-year-old Madeline Miller was shot to death by police in Suburbs, Flossmoor. Details as to the circumstances that led to the shooting are scarce. However, reports say that officers responded to a call for domestic disturbance at a residence located on the 1400 block of Joyce Drive. According to police, they were met at the door by Miller, who reportedly was holding a knife. Police opened fire on Miller. According to social media accounts, 8 shots were fired. Miller was taken to an area hospital where she was pronounced dead. The Illinois State Police Public Integrity Task Force is currently investigating the incident. During the week, we learned that 29-year-old Joshua Lacey is facing attempted murder charges for a shooting in South Chicago. Lacey is facing 2 felony counts of attempted first-degree murder as the alleged gunman in a shooting in South Chicago on May 1st. The shooting happened on the 8700 block of Commercial. 2 men were struck in the shooting. A 35-year-old man was hit in the abdomen and leg, and a 32-year-old was shot twice in the lower back. Lacey was arrested on July 1st. No further information was provided on the shooting or how police suspect Lacey's involvement. 3 late teens from Calumet City are facing charges for downtown fireworks incident involving police. Giovanni Arajo, Yair Cruz Roman, and Guillermo Mota Jr. allegedly threw fireworks at a police car in the Loop on the 4th of July. The fireworks reportedly shattered the windshield and damaged the hood of the vehicle. 2 officers were reportedly injured. The young men all are facing 2 counts of aggravated battery to a peace officer. Arajo also faces 1 count of criminal damage to government property under $500. Cruz Roman was charged with disorderly conduct for failing to disperse, and Mota was charged with a misdemeanor of reckless conduct. During the 4th, large groups of people gathered in the Loop, many setting off fireworks in streets and doing car donuts. On Tuesday, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot visited Chicago's East Side to talk about Congress gun legislation. Lightfoot was joined by 10th Ward Alderwoman Susan Solowski Garza, Father Michael Fledger, and Congresswoman Robin Kelly at the East Side Plaza. At a press conference, Congresswoman Kelly touted the Safer Communities Act, which U.S. President Joe Biden signed in June. According to WGN News, the act boosts funding for mental health, expands background checks for buyers under 21, funds red flag laws that allow authorities to temporarily confiscate guns from people deemed dangerous, increases penalties for straw purchases, and bars dating partners convicted of domestic abuse from purchasing firearms in addition to spouses and former spouses. Lightfoot, who is running for re-election in early 2023, has faced critiques from opposition candidates for her public safety record due to continuous violence in the city. On Saturday, businessman, philanthropist, and Chicago mayoral candidate Dr. Willie Wilson gave out free gas at locations in Chicago and Indiana. Dr. Wilson donated $13,000 to gas stations, including ones in Gary and Hammond, to be given to residents. Before announcing his candidacy, Dr. Wilson pledged over $2 million to help Chicago area residents suffering financially due to increased cost of living and inflation. Dr. Wilson has called on Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and other government officials to suspend gas taxes due to rising fuel costs. He has pledged to offer another food giveaway next month to help area residents with grocery costs. In March, Wilson hosted a food gift card giveaway at Pete's Market on Chicago's east side. On Thursday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker announced the approval of a disaster declaration for the Park of River Oaks condominiums in Calumet City. In an interview with the Northwest Indiana Times, Calumet City Mayor Thaddeus Jones credited both Pritzker and Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle for assistance with approving the declaration, following a fire at the residencies on May 30th. During the fire, one person was killed and 7, including 3 firefighters, were injured and over 150 residents were displaced. The U.S. Small Business Administration, which approved the declaration, will be providing assistance to those affected by the fire. The declaration will allow condo owners and businesses impacted by the fire to apply for low-interest loans of up to $200,000 to help pay for real estate damages not covered by insurance. Renters and homeowners can also apply for up to $40,000 to replace damaged or destroyed personal property. Businesses and nonprofits can borrow up to $2 million to cover physical damages. A disaster loan outreach center was open at the condo complex and will be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturdays. The center will operate until July 21st. Also on Thursday, the Ukrainian men's Olympic Greco-Roman wrestling team traveled to begin its training in Hammond. The team is relocating due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Following a meeting between Indiana Governor Holcomb and the Ukrainian U.S. ambassador in March, the team was welcomed to relocate to train in Indiana. The team is currently training at Hammond Central High School until August 3rd. As part of their 3-week stay, the team, which was ranked 3rd in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, will have joint training sessions and meet with local wrestlers and student athletes. On Sunday, an organization called the Three Little Birds Gardens gave out thousands of plants to area residents at Wolf Lake. The group began the giveaway close to 8 a.m. Several volunteers joined the group in providing curbside pickups of a variety of different plants. The organization was founded by 3 area residents looking to advocate and teach about gardening and healthy eating. They provide fresh produce to local food banks and run a community garden at the Hegwish Senior Suites. More information about the group and their events can be found at threelittlebirdsgardens.org. And that ends our weekly review for June 27th to July 11th, 2022. Thank you for joining us for this week in review. Peace.